If you could change any choices you have ever made, would you? You can always make another choice and change the course of your success. Everyone has the potency to make inspired choices. Get ready to listen, share, and experience the creativity that is you. Now, here is the host of Inspired Choices radio show, Holographist coach, Christine McIver.
Hello, everyone. I'm so happy to have you here tonight. Yes, I am Christine McIver, and tonight we have got another business podcast show. And tonight we're talking about afraid to start due to attached responsibilities. Anybody ever feel like that? Like to start a product, to start a service, to start a business, to start anything, even like a book. What is it that you are pulling back on starting because you're worried about responsibilities? Don't you just love that word? So last week we talked about what the heck is business anyways. That was last week's show. And the week before that, finding your sweet spot in business. So all of these shows that I'm creating, they're all about business, because business to me is total pleasure. I actually have a class called The Pleasure of Business, because that's truly what business is for me. I love business. I love creating in business. To me, it really, truly is my playground. And it's the space and place where I get to show up and really be me and have fun being me. And when I do that, and when I connect with my clients or with the radio show hosts, and I'm working with them in creating, that is such pleasure and such ease for me. So what is it that is ease for you? That if you just got rid of all of the judgments and you got rid of all of your points of view about what it's going to mean, what people are going to think, all of the tasks that come pouring into your mind, just allow those all to just stay out. What is it that gives you so much ease and pleasure that it is like play? How many of you have those knowings that there is something out there for you that is total play? I know that that's coming to people all the time, because when I speak to people, like let's use the hosts, for instance. So I have created the Inspired Choices Network. This is the platform. This is wherever you're listening in podcast form, or if you're listening live on one of our live feeds, that's our home platform, is the Inspired Choices Network. And that's something that I created now 5 years ago. 5 years ago? Can't count. But yeah, 5 years ago. And we have been growing this, and we've been, speaking to so many different hosts and connecting with so many different hosts from all over the world. And the one thing that comes out every single solitary time is their joy and their excitement and what really is in their heart. So that's what we're going to be talking about tonight. We're going to be talking about the joy in your heart, and we're going to talk about the fears. Because as we start to reach for more of our joys, those fears start to bubble up. We're going to talk about why that is and how we can actually use those fears to fuel our joys. How much fun is that going to be? So let me tell you a little bit about myself. I am a holographist coach. I'm a possibilities coach. I love to lean into what is possible and what is out there that sparks your interest, your curiosity. Where are your desires? I work with individuals from all walks of life, and most especially people that are in their own business. Now, I work with individuals one-on-one in areas of parenting, divorce, and relationship. That's a fun area for me as well. But one of the main areas where I work with people is actually in business. So when you connect with me, we would look at where you are in business, and it doesn't matter whether you've been just thinking about being in business or you've been in business for 10 years or 12 years like myself. We look at all the areas of what's working and where you want to expand and change. And together, I use all of my tools of many years of being both working in the public business sector as well as being in my own business to see what it is that we can create. It's so much more easeful when we connect with someone else who not only understands our plight, but has the tools to help move us forward. I am not the type of coach that is just going to tell you what to do. I actually love getting in there and getting my hands all wet and dirty with you and creating together. That is something that's very, very fun for me. And a lot of people talk about they don't really like one-on-one coaching. I actually love one-on-one coaching. I love to see your eyes light up and for the excitement and the ease when somebody takes a breath like, oh, that lights me up. So if that's something that you're curious about, if that's possible for you and I to work together, please connect with me. I have a few different things that I can offer you. I have a program called Bust Doubt Out. So if you're doubting yourself, this is a 3-call series. You can pick it up for only $50 Canadian. You can get that at inspiredchoices.ca. I have some other programs where we can work one-on-one. Maybe there's just one area of your business you need to work on, and an hour or two would suffice. We can do that. Or you can look at my strategic business package. This is a package that I have on sale right now, and you can work with me one-on-one for 7 sessions. That's 7 hours for only 1,000 Canadian. And, sometimes you may not even have to be working with me. I can be working in different areas of your business to create more ease and more expansion and prosperity for you. So do connect with me, Christine, at inspiredchoices.ca. So let's get into tonight's show. Afraid to start due to attached responsibilities. Now, when this topic first came through, it was really about afraid to begin a business. Now, many of you are probably already in business, but you still have fears that are coming up. Anybody? Yeah, I think we all do. And here's the thing about being in business. When you are in business, in your own business, you are in some type of energy of creation on a continuous basis, okay? You might be creating a book, and so that's in the beginning of stages, or maybe it's coming to a close and you're ready to take it to a publisher. I'm hoping to do that very soon myself. Maybe you are creating a new program, how you can engage your clients or your customers in a new program that you've developed. Or maybe you have a service that you want to tweak, or a product that is going through a new life cycle and you want to create that differently to reach customers that have a different need, okay? We are continuously in creation, and we're in creation in relationships with our customers and clients as well. So maybe you're in creation about your social media postings, or you're in creation on how to communicate with your customers. We are continuously in creation. Now, a lot of us, though, we start to pull back when we think about doing something, because what happens is sometimes we get a flood of all of these fears that start to come in. So tonight we're going to talk about where to begin, or to actually begin. And when we're doing that, we're going to help to stop the fears from the beginning, because when we can stop those fears and we can turn and we can actually look at those fears and really dissect them and identify the truth of what's going on, we can be empowered to take our dreams, our desires to the next level. So if you sabotage your creative process, maybe it's time to look at what's actually going on there. Perhaps you're buying into things that other people are doing in their business. Is that even possible for you? So let's get down to it. So one of the very first things that popped for me when I started to look at this show was, who said you need to know it all? Who said that you need to know it all? So I can tell you over the years, and even with myself, when I started to think about going into my own business, and initially what happens for all of us is we start to get excited. You remember that moment when you thought about going into your own business and the excitement that started to rise up. Now that excitement period may have lasted 5 seconds, 5 days, or 5 weeks. But there is a point for every person I've ever met where there's an excitement, and then it comes the, yeah, but How many of you have those yeah buts going on in your head? And all of those yeah buts start to slow your roll and start to pull you back into questioning. And actually, it's not questioning, doubting the joy that was running through you, right? Well, what happens is when we go into that joy and we start to think about that amazing creation that's starting to bubble up in us, we have a knowing. And when that bubble starts to come, I want you to understand that there is a collective consciousness that has a possibility that it's put out to the world. And where you are vibrationally has matched with that creation possibility. Now, here's the key. If you allow the doubt to come in, it will actually separate you from that excitement. If you allow the doubt to sit outside of you, to give you information, to support you looking at the steps, that's a completely different story. So which one are you doing? Are you allowing the doubt to come in and separate you from the excitement, or are you allowing it to come in as information? It's a great question, right? So here's the thing. Most of us, until we've actually got our feet wet in our own business, we start to allow the doubt to separate us. And so many people is as soon as they get something exciting, and I did it too, is you call up somebody and you're like, I'm so excited. Or somebody calls you and they're asking what's going on and you're like, oh my God, I just got this idea and I'm going to start this business and I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that. And they're like, well, do you really think that's a good idea? Have you thought about it? Have you really thought about what this means? Have you thought about how much time that's going to be? Is there really a market for that? I love when people say that. Is there really a market for that? It cracks me up. And here's why. If that possibility was not in the world, you wouldn't have gotten a spark. Okay? Just know that. If the possibility was not available in the world, you wouldn't have gotten a spark. And if you had not gotten that spark, right, the energy wouldn't be flowing through you. The excitement wouldn't be flowing through you. I want you to know that your business, my business, everyone's business has come to them to come through them. There is something about you and the ideas of your business that you have a unique combination. You and the idea make an absolutely delicious dish. Think of it like food, okay? There's many people in the world that make butter tarts. Here we go again with my butter tarts. There's many people that make butter tarts, but nobody, not one person, not my children, not my relatives, not even my beautiful mother who taught me how to make butter tarts. Nobody makes butter tarts like I make butter tarts. And nobody's butter tarts taste like mine. My butter tarts are delicious. My butter tarts are raved over. My butter tarts are asked for. Okay? It's because my unique combination of the energy that I be and the joy that it brings me creates this amazing product. Now, I want you to substitute the words that I used wherever I said butter tarts. I want you to insert what it is that you're creating. All right? My radio show. Nobody creates a radio show like I create a radio show. My radio show is unique because of my unique combination of my energy, and the energy of my radio show coming together makes my radio show different than any radio show, than any podcast in the world has ever been or ever will be. Mine is completely 100% unique. Now, I want you to get this. I want you to get this so clearly, because the combination of you, my friend, and what it is that you create and the way that it shows up in the world is going to be completely different than anybody else's. So while there may not be a quote unquote market in somebody's interesting point of view, the actual confirmation for you is the excitement. When that excitement is coming through you, there is a desire in the world pulling it to and through you. There is a desire in the world, whether you have the demand of someone in front of you asking for it, or the energy of it is starting to pump through you. I refer to this beautiful quote by my dear friend, Sherry. She's an actual published author. She's a writing coach. She's oh my God, I can't even think of her. She's an editor. And I'll never forget the very first time I heard her on one of our shows. She said, if there is an idea coming through you, a thought to write a book, there is somebody looking to read that book. And that is something that I've held very, very close to me for a very long time. And it's so true. This radio show, the title of this radio show came through me because there's someone out there looking for this information and my unique way of delivering it. So we are going to go for our first break. But while we're there, I want you to think about the uniqueness that you are and the uniqueness that your business, your product, your service is. And then when we get back, we're going to keep diving into this about the fears and what that really means. So everyone, you're listening to Inspired Choices with myself, Christine McIver, here on the Inspired Choices Network. And stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you a subject matter expert? Are you here to share your expertise with an audience waiting to hear from you in only the way you can deliver? Are you ready to have your voice amplified across the airwaves? Inspired Choices Network has a global radio platform streaming to millions of people across the world. Professionally produced and supported by an accomplished team every step of the way, you can broadcast from anywhere in the world, knowing your voice matters, and we ensure it is delivered with ease and efficiency. Eager to hear your message, the world awaits. Contact us today to become an Inspired Choices Network radio host. Email becomeahost@inspiredchoicesnetwork.com.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. So glad you're sticking around tonight. Remember, if you have a question or you have a comment or you're thinking about working with me or seeing if we're a match, email me, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. I absolutely adore receiving emails from the listeners because it's each and every one of you that actually inspires me to choose more every single week. So I would love to hear from you and what's going on for you in your business. So we were talking about the excitement. Before we went for break, we were talking about the excitement of your business, all right? An idea goes out into the collective consciousness. And when that idea comes to you, that is the choice moment that you have. That's the choice moment where you can say, yes, I'm choosing this. I don't know how it's going to look. I don't know how to do these different tasks. But this excitement that's pumping through me is a confirmation that absolutely this is something that would be fabulous with me creating with it. Now, if you choose to sit on that, if you choose to ignore it, for a long period of time, I can tell you it's still in the collective consciousness, all right? And as it's out there in the collective consciousness, someone else might get a spark. So I'm telling you right now that if you're having those sparks, let's do a discovery session. Let's discover if that is really something that would light you up and turn you on and create business. Yes, as Keisha says in the chat room, can't just sleep on it, my friends. No, 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 no. Okay, now, so you get this excitement. Please, I know when you're excited about something, you want to reach out, you want to share your excitement, you want someone to share your excitement. And when you do that, please reach out to someone that is actually got your back. Reach out to someone that will be your cheerleader, not someone that's going to critique it. Okay? Well, I should talk to Bob because Bob's been in his own business for 10 years. Yeah, Bob might be in his own business, but Bob may not be able to be someone that is going to support and cheer you forward, okay? Is Bob the person that critiques everything and pulls everything apart and, needs to have whatever, I don't know, 10 documents to confirm that this is actually something that's going to move forward? Yeah, Bob may not be the one. And this does not mean that you don't take all those things into consideration. This is not about going into business blind. This is about pumping up and fueling that excitement. Because without excitement, all the data in the world is just like a dead rock, if there's such a thing. It's just like a really heavy rock that just sits there and goes nowhere. You need excitement to fuel you forward. Now, here's the big thing we're talking about tonight is we're talking about the fear of the responsibilities, all right? So many people that are in their own business have this point of view that they have to be able to do it all in order for them to be able to claim success. And I'm going to call bullshit on that. All right. I actually have this really cool button. If you're watching me on video, it says bullshit on it. It is. That is actually BS. And because here's the thing. If you have a product or a service and it will actually contribute to a customer in order for them to drive their car more effectively or efficiently, or they be able to sleep better because of it, or it would create greater in their relationship, please see your product or service as a puzzle piece, a piece that fits into their world, fits into their lives, and it creates greater for them. Okay? Awesome. Now, I want you to turn around and I want you to look at your business and understand that your business, while you are the driver of the excitement of it, that does not mean that you have all the puzzle pieces to support that business to go out into the world big and beautiful like you desire it to be, okay? You are not equipped to know how to do every single solitary thing in business. You're just not. Now, you can be a stubborn little sassy girl, or you can be a bulldog, and you can just barrel through and try to learn every single solitary thing in order for you to be able to do it all. And I'll tell you, I have been there. I have done that for years. I did it for years and years and years and thought that I had to learn it all and do it all. And well, I have learned a lot of things. And it is definitely been a contribution to me. You've got to know that also learning about business is what I do. My business is about learning about business to support people in business. But at the same time, I do not need to know every single solitary thing about business. So let me give you a really, really easy example. I was going to go to college. I graduated from high school in 1980. I know, a long time ago, whatever. And when I graduated from college, or high school, I originally went to college for accounting. I was very good in accounting. I really enjoy numbers. I love playing with all those, different things. I love Excel. I've taught Excel, all of that. And I, absolutely can be very efficient with accounting. It was about a year after I had started. It was like, no, this is definitely not my final career, but still felt like I was quite efficient, that I could do all the things with accounting. Well, here's the thing, is just because I have some abilities with accounting does not mean that I have all the intricate details of doing accounting, of doing my books, of staying on top of all those details, of being able to do the taxes at the end of the year. I don't have those skills, and I don't need to have those skills. I bring in a bookkeeper, I bring in an accountant, and those two are puzzle pieces to support me to move forward. Now, yes, there is the responsibility of ensuring I have a bookkeeper, of ensuring I have an accountant so those things get done. Yes, that's my role in it. But it doesn't mean that I have to be responsible for doing all of those tasks. Ask yourself, what tasks, what responsibilities have you bought into that you have to do in order for you to be successful? Ask yourself that. Now, I can tell you right now, these fears are not about the responsibilities. The fears that most people have when they think it's the responsibilities of doing everything, the fears are actually, if I don't do everything, I won't actually be successful. I actually bought that crazy lie when I started to look at creating a book. Now, it's normal, right? Quote unquote normal to have an editor, and it's normal to have a publisher. But I bought into the lie that I couldn't have my editor actually give me ideas and change things, because if she were to go ahead and change things, I hadn't written that part of the book. And then I would be a fraud that I actually wrote that book. Now, how crazy is that? Anybody else have these types of crazies going on in your world? Anybody else feeling like they are a fraud if they're not doing everything? Yeah. How many people out there right now believe that the responsibilities that are required to have an efficient, let's call it an efficient business, lies solely on the creator of the business? You know, here's what I know is that there's so many businesses in the world, and I want to give an example of a business that, let's say they have 35 to 50 employees. They have a payroll of probably $1.5 million, all right? They've got revenue of maybe about 15, 25 million a year, all right? In order to get to that size and maintain that size, it requires more than one person, right? The payroll hence would tell you that. But in order to even get to that level of revenue or payroll, it requires more than one person and people with specialties. So while the responsibility lies on you, the owner, you cannot possibly grow a business with your set of skills solely. All right? And so how many of us are really buying into that we have to learn all of the details, and that is actually sabotaging the creativity that is out there? How many of you said that you have to know it all, and you have to know it before you even begin? Well, I'm telling you right now that if you have that mindset about a product, about a service, about a book, that you have to have it all laid out, you have to understand every single solitary detail before you begin, you will very successfully suck all of the joy and all of the excitement out of that creation. Because when you are trying to, concentrate and push your energy down and have so much judgment of it has to be this way, it has to be this way, I need to know this, I need to know that. When you have all of that energy pushing at the excitement cannot be sustained with all of that worry and all of that judgment. And there you go, boom, and you sabotage what is actually possible. When anybody starts out in a business, they start out taking one step at a time. What would it actually be like if you understood that to be in business is actually to create, right? Please go back and listen to last week's show as I was talking about what the heck is business anyways, because we were talking a big piece about creation. And your job, your number one job in your business is about identifying you as the creator of the business. At no point does it say you are the taskmaster of all tasks in business. That's not your job. Your job is to be the creator and then to ask, unique idea, to actually ask for the universe, for the people to come to you, to support you with this beautiful creation that's about to be birthed. We're going to go to our second break. When we get back, we're going to continue to talk about what it looks like when you're actually asking for the people to come in and support you in business. So you're listening to Christine McIver, that's me, on Inspired Choices Radio Show here on the Inspired Choices Network, talking about afraid to start due to attached responsibilities. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices Radio Show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The Pleasure of Business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Well, welcome back, everyone. Thank you so much for staying tuned to tonight's show. If you're just tuning in, you got to go back and listen to the beginning of this because we are talking about afraid to start due to attached responsibilities. So before we get back into the show, I just want to remind you that I have a really awesome offerings. First of all, if you go over to my website, you can actually get a chapter for free that I wrote, and it's all about, it's a very cool chapter. It's actually about relationships, and it's called Old Maid Be Damned. It was so much fun to write, and I'm so getting the excitement about writing my next book, actually a full book. You can also connect in and get a very cool, it was one of my most favorite creations. It's called Bust Doubt Out. If doubt is really driving you in your life, in your business, in your relationships, in your joy, if doubt is really getting in the way and it's screaming louder and louder and louder, and I know most people have had that experience at one point or another, you can pick up that 3-call series for only $50 Canadian. And I'm telling you, as I said, it was one of my very most favorite creations, and it changed my world just as much as it changed the people that were on that call. So you can go to inspiredchoices.ca to check that out. As well, check out the idea of a strategic session with myself. In this session, we will be talking about all things business, what's going on for you in your business, and how we can actually expand your business into greater possibilities. Everyone will get a discovery session with me to begin, and then we can look at what is actually possible in what direction we can go. All right. Now, coming up next week, as I said, last week the show was What the Heck is Business Anyways? Please have a listen to that, because that will open up your world around the whole idea of business. That definitely is one of the first calls you want to check into. And next week, we're doing Proving You're Doing Business by Working Hard Instead of Smart. Now, I know we've heard these sayings before, but like all things, whenever I'm doing a show, I'm diving deep into both the actual tasks of business and the psychology of what goes on for each and every one of us. All right. I would love for you to connect in with me next week here at the Inspired Choices Network, or you can listen on any one of our 50 plus platforms where we're live streaming, or again on our 100 plus platforms where we're podcasting. Go to your favorite podcast platform, check it out, look for my name, Inspired Choices. If you can't find me, email me, Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. I will definitely get you hooked up. All right, so let's get back into this. So before we went to break, I was talking about how you don't actually have to, excuse me, I need to clear my throat. There we go. Excuse me. You do not have to actually be the one that does all the tasks. Now, I'm going to tell you something. If you're someone that maybe you're embarrassed, or maybe your first thought is, if I bring someone into my business, how am I going to pay them? Or you're thinking about, I don't want someone to judge me. Maybe they'll think I'm doing it wrong. And you have any of those things come up. Please know you're not alone. I had all of those things actually occur for me. For sure, at the very, very beginning and throughout the first probably 5 years of my business, I kept playing those same messages in my head. It was the sabotager, sabotaging me, the saboteur who was stopping me from actually growing. Those are, other people's points of views, that's society and what they're saying. It can be an old wound from when you were a child, when somebody said you're not good enough. It doesn't matter where that's coming from, but if it's coming up, I want you to identify it. That's the very first thing. Identify. I have this doubt. I have this sabotage that's happening to me. All right. There is no way in the world that one person can do every single solitary thing in business. Now, I think of a musician. Well, now Keisha's going to probably give me the name of this, but a musician that has they're standing there and they have they're playing simultaneously 4 or 5 different instruments. They're carrying this all on their body, and they're playing all of those instruments. You think maybe wow, look at that guy. He can play all those instruments simultaneously and do this song and maybe sing and all that. Yeah, that's great. But he probably is not doing his accounting. He's probably not doing his promotion. Maybe he's not his printer. He's not doing the printer of promoting what he does. There is so many different different aspects to business. And if you cannot get out of that, she can't think of the word either. If you cannot get out of that mindset and understand that you cannot possibly have all of those skills, you're going to keep cutting off the probability and the possibility of what your business, what your product, what your book, what your service can actually be in the world. You've got to get out of your own way with that thinking. Now, here's another thing that is fabulous, and this actually helped me to shift forward. So if the universe dropped this idea into my world, and if I got excited about it, okay, those are two big things right there, all right? And if I actually started to take action on it, that's telling me that the universe has my back, right? And if the universe has your back, do you not think that the universe would also bring you amazing people to support you to grow this business out into the world? And when you open up your willingness to not only receive these amazing ideas, but also open up to the possibility that there are others out there that would like to connect, work, create with you. When you can do that, suddenly things start to open up and suddenly creation and connections start to happen for you. And if you would actually lean in and ask, hey, universe, show me who would be a contribution to my business. And just stay out of the how. And trust me, my how is so loud. My whole life, one of the very first things I will say when I'm struggling is, well, how am I going to do that? How? That is my brain trying to understand and organize everything, okay? I've got a great brain. You've got a great brain. But they need to stay the heck out of the way when we're in the creation of possibilities, okay? So when you start to ask, okay, universe, show me what is really possible here, you are going to be so pleasantly surprised by what can actually occur. When I first started my business, the people that I wanted to, that I really needed support on to grow, I asked, hey, could we do a trade? What could I contribute to you if you contributed to me? I asked those questions. And before you know it, what actually occurred was we were actually contributing to each other's businesses. And then you know what happened? Both of our businesses started to grow. Then there was money. We were able to actually exchange money for our services. This is what can actually be created if you would get out of the way. Here's another really huge thing. When you are willing to invite and receive people into your business, you start to change their world. So it's not just the product or the service that you're creating that changes the world. It's actually your willingness to receive and work with other people that can change their world. And then they start to create greater. And then that, transfers to their clients, that transfers to their family. And that starts that domino effect of actually contributing to each other in the world. Get out of the mindset that everything is linear, okay? That you create a product and somebody pays you for it and it changes their world. If that was the only steps that was involved in creation, we wouldn't have all the different types of flowers and trees and animals and amazingness that's coming up in the world. It's not linear. Creation is not linear. I don't think we would have human bodies that show up so beautifully and different if we believed it was linear. Please get this, my friends. Your creations are doing more in the world than just 1, 2, 3 steps, okay? And when you are willing to receive other people and you actually let your ego go and you ask more questions, what they can bring to your business with their ideas of what drops into their consciousness and how they're willing to work and create with you is exponentially all of the creations start to grow and things get more and more and more exciting. I can tell you that for me, with the Inspired Choices Network as one of my pieces of business, right? It's one of my biggest babies. It's one of my most successful pieces of business. With there are times when I am actually not doing the tasks. I have an amazing team of producers that work with me. I have an editor that writes with us. We have people that are doing graphics. We have people that are doing social media promotion, all of these amazing people that I work with, that work with me, that support this amazing idea, and all of these hosts that come in and create these fabulous podcasts. Guess what? I'll sit back sometimes and it will just really hit me. Like I'll get this wave of, see, the tears are starting to come. I'll get this wave of absolute gratitude of like, oh my God, this was a little idea that I had. This was my little idea, this little girl from this little place called King Cora, which is 4 Corner Don't Blink, 100 people that lived in this little village in southwestern Ontario, Canada. I had this idea, and look at where it is today. I did get excited. I got excited, and that excitement started to filter out to others, and my willingness to ask and receive started to create this phenomenal creation that is touching other people's lives, that's growing other people's businesses, that's putting food on the table for other families, that's touching that person that's sitting alone right now listening and hoping and wishing, that is reaching out to people around the world and giving them hope, inspiration, guidance, ideas. This creation came through me, but is not just for me to create. Are you willing to look at that with your business? Are you willing to honestly, you don't have to see all of that. I didn't see all of that. I didn't imagine all of these things. But what I kept doing was I kept fanning my excitement. And then when something would come forward, I'd take a step. And then when I needed support, I asked a question. And I just kept doing this consistently. Consistently is a really important piece we'll be talking about. But I consistently kept fanning my excitement and asking and being willing to receive. My friends, the fears are going to come up. Be willing to be stronger and greater than the fears, even if you don't know how. Put your hand up and ask for support. Ask for help. There are amazing people in the world that talk about business, that do creation in many, many different ways. Ask, who would be the greatest contribution to me? I would love to be your possibilities coach. I would love to support you to grow this idea of excitement that's within you and take it to a level that you never even imagined. That, my friends, that throws my excitement over the friggin' moon. Are you ready to take this small spark that's coming up in you and take it to the next level? If you are, please continue to listen. Please continue to lean in, because we're going to continue this right after this break, and we're going to keep talking about what can actually be created when you're ready to move beyond the responsibilities of being all for you. You're listening to Inspired Choices with Christine McIver. We'll be right back. Stay tuned.
Many of us make choices in our lives based on our past experiences or what others believe. What would our lives be like if we made our choices based on what we desire for our futures? When you join Inspired Choices radio show with holographist coach Christine McIver, you'll be provoked to look at what is true and what you know but may not choose that requires your attention. Christine does not hold back and brings all her expertise during each and every show. Are you ready to create the life and the living you truly desire? Listen for Inspired Choices radio show every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com.
Are you ready to have pleasure with your business? Yes, I said pleasure with your business. The pleasure of business a la carte will surprise you with topics like meet yourself in the boardroom, money, services, and you. Expand your visibility. The pleasure of communication. The pleasure of Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Christine McIver has so much pleasure with business and loves teaching all things business. Beginning a new business? Desiring to expand a current business? Or looking to resurrect a business that has been dormant? This program will get you fired up and bring more pleasure than you have ever imagined. Exhausted with your excuses for not creating a phenomenal business? Join now for all the pleasure with business. Pleasure of Business a la carte gives you total choice for what you desire and what your business requires. That's 24 weeks of different topics to choose from with weekly calls, audio and video recordings, and PDFs. This class will have you dive right in and use tools to create the business that has been speaking to you. Go to inspiredchoices.ca for full details or join the Facebook page Pleasure of Business a la carte. Now is the time for you and your business.
This is Inspired Choices Radio Show with holographist coach Christine McIver. To participate in the program, call in the U.S. 815-880-8255, Canada 613-800-8736, or Skype us at Inspired Choices Network. You can also make the choice to ask or comment by email by sending to Christine@inspiredchoices.ca. Now, back to the program.
Welcome back, everyone. Yes, this is Christine McIver. Tonight we are talking about business. Surprise. And tonight's show is all about afraid to start due to attached responsibilities. Oh boy, my friends. We really slayed the dragon about responsibilities, right? What is responsibilities? And I was going to get into that definition. What I do know is that responsibilities is about the way that you respond, your ability to respond. So your ability to respond to the needs of your business, your ability to respond to the requirements of your business is how you respond, not how you do it. Do you understand? Do you understand that this spark that's in you can become something greater than you've ever imagined if you're willing to keep leaning in and asking questions? Don't be embarrassed by what you don't know. We all start somewhere, right? Don't be embarrassed to ask questions. Asking questions, actually, if there's someone in your world that knows something and you ask them a question, they actually, 99.9% of people love to be able to say, oh, here, let me show you. If you ask me a question, I get really excited that I can share something with you that I know, and then you can share that with someone you know, and so on and so on. We're creating together in this world, my friends. We are creating more possibilities and more ease and more joy with our choices to open up, to be vulnerable, and to be willing to ask for support from the universe and from the people around us. And you know what? If you ask someone and it's a no, that's okay. There's 7.5 billion people in the planet. I'm sure that there's someone out there that would be love to put their hand up and support you. There is a technical issue that I'm dealing with that I'm trying to create differently. And I've been asking for probably over a year. And while I have yet to find the amazing people that are going to contribute to creating what I know is possible, I still know that it's possible. And I still know that we are going to find the solution. And I know that I'm going to find the people that are going to come forward to help support and create that. Tell me something. If you knew beyond a shadow of a doubt that the idea that you receive has the possibility of being in the world, and if you never got that idea, that possibility wouldn't be there. But knowing that when that idea comes through you, the possibility is 100% available, would you start to show up differently in your life? Would you start to show up differently in your business? Would you start to have more confidence in what this amazing idea that started out with one little excitement inside of you could actually become? Would you take that doubt? Would you take all of that saboteur and put it aside, knowing that those things are there to fuel you to ask more questions, not to stop you? My friends, it has been a pleasure to be with you tonight. If you are listening to this in the podcast in the future, today is September the 2nd, 2020. If you are listening to this in the future, I would love to hear from you. Please reach out, Christine at inspiredchoices.ca. Be sure to check out my website, inspiredchoices.ca, where you'll see all of my offerings. And be sure to come back next week where we're going to be talking about proving you're doing business by working hard instead of smart. Until then, my friends, remember, you can always make another choice. Until next week, take good care of you.
Thank you for choosing to listen to Inspired Choices Radio Show. Christine McIver will return next Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, 7 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Mountain, and 5 p.m. Pacific on InspiredChoicesNetwork.com. We hope you'll join us. Until then, be willing to choose what you really desire. This is your life, making the choices that bring you all that you desire.